You had a baby in a house when you were 13 years old and we can't find you. By the way, where's the baby buried? I asked that question to her. And she said what happened after she gave birth was they called her mom and they said that she's got to go. I said, how do you know the baby was dead? You're telling me they moved you into a room and they induced labor after you said, I don't want to give up my child.
And the kids, we all thought they were this tragic little family. They weren't his. We found the DNA records later.
If what Candace Owens recently hinted at turns out to be true, then this whole situation doesn't just add a small twist to Erika Kirk's story. It completely flips the entire narrative upside down. For months, people across social media have been quietly repeating the same uneasy question again and again.
Hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
If what Candace Owens just hinted at turns out to be true, then this situation doesn't just
Was Erika ever actually pregnant in the first place? And if she truly was pregnant, the next question becomes even more explosive. Was the baby really Charlie's? Right now, there are whispers spreading behind the scenes about alleged DNA evidence that's supposedly being passed around privately. Those rumors aren't fading either.
We laugh about this because our dates are so messed up because of babies, meaning there's so many dates to remember.
They're getting louder every single day. Conversations that once stayed tucked away in small corners of the internet are now spilling out into the open. More creators, more viewers, and more curious people are starting to ask the same questions. But before jumping too far ahead into speculation, there's something simple and very real that people keep pointing out. In today's world, pregnancy moments are documented everywhere. Ultrasound photos, baby bump updates, gender reveals, people share all of it online. And when it comes to influencers, public figures, or personalities who live their lives in front of a camera, those moments are usually shared even more. But when people started looking back at Erika's timeline, something felt strangely absent. There isn't a single candid photo showing her clearly pregnant. Not one public appearance with a visible baby bump.
Story of the woman who raised Erika Kirk. Her mom, Loretta Francevy.
Yeah, that's Erika Kirk getting an ultrasound. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not that woman has really ever been pregnant. Now, I've been pregnant 5 times. The first was a miscarriage, gave birth to 4. So you bet your ass I zoomed in on that ultrasound screen.
No paparazzi pictures. No casual photos from friends. No random, unfiltered social media clip where viewers could clearly see it. That absence stands out even more because Erika built her entire brand around constantly being on camera. She filmed herself everywhere. On stages, on airplanes, at conferences, and even during deeply emotional moments that most people would normally keep private. And that's where this story starts getting even harder for some people to ignore. When Charlie passed away, Erika didn't step away from the camera to grieve privately. Instead, she did the exact opposite. She picked up the camera right away and documented everything. She filmed herself crying. She filmed moments of heartbreak. She even filmed the moment she kissed her husband goodbye.
And this is a close-up of the screen, which led me to do a deep dive into the stages of pregnancy, which I've done, back in the day when I was pregnant, but it's been a while. It's hard to see a lot of detail in that picture. Based on her stomach size and the size of what we can see, it would be safe to presume this is the viability ultrasound, that they determine if there's a heartbeat, which they can do as early as 6 weeks.
Those were incredibly personal moments. And they were shared publicly in real time for everyone to watch. And that's where the contradiction that people keep talking about begins to hit harder. If someone is comfortable sharing raw grief, heartbreak, and final goodbyes with the world, then why would pregnancy suddenly become the one thing kept completely private and hidden? That's the question people online keep circling back to again and again. If privacy was truly the guiding principle behind those choices, then why did that privacy only apply to one very specific chapter of her life? That difference is exactly what keeps raising eyebrows across the internet. Once people noticed it, they started digging deeper into every small detail surrounding the situation. Erika's entire online identity is strongly tied to her marriage. Her social media profiles literally identify her as Mrs. Erika Kirk. connecting her brand directly to that last name. So when the ultrasound footage surfaced, viewers quickly noticed something that felt off.
And this is what it looks like at 6 weeks, and this is what it looks like at 8 weeks. Wanted to compare that to her picture, but I don't have the technology to zoom in on it. I wasted 2 hours, except I learned that at 9 weeks they hiccup. I didn't know that.
The name displayed on the ultrasound reportedly wasn't Erika Kirk. Instead, it allegedly showed her maiden name, Erika Franza. Now, there could absolutely be a simple explanation. Maybe it was older paperwork. Maybe the hospital system hadn't updated her records yet. Maybe it was just an administrative detail that slipped through the cracks. But when someone's entire public identity revolves around being Mrs. Erika Kirk, seeing a completely different name on something as important as an ultrasound definitely caught people's attention.
Charlie in an elevator, everything about Charlie is adding up. I cannot get a single person to confirm if they saw Erika, who's apparently out and about. I then thought, wouldn't it make sense? She screams in the middle of a parking lot. She screams in the middle of a doctor's office. Everybody kind of knows where they were when Charlie got shot. Okay, if this doctor's office had people in it, there's going to be someone who said, hey, I heard a giant scream at my doctor's office.
And that wasn't the only detail viewers pointed out. According to what some people noticed while reviewing the footage, Charlie wasn't present during that ultrasound visit at all. Instead, Erika reportedly went to the hospital with her mother, Lori. On its own, that detail might not mean very much. Family members often show up to support each other during medical appointments all the time. A mother accompanying her daughter to a hospital visit isn't unusual at all.
Because I know we had a birth plan, and the only thing that went to plan on that birth plan was that we had a child.
That's right.
Everything else
We had a great
went out the window.
We had a great OB. May he rest in peace. Terrible story.
It's so sad.
But when people started stacking that detail next to everything else, especially the complete lack of visible pregnancy photos, the questions began piling up fast. When there's clear documentation, people usually move on without thinking twice. But when those records seem missing or unclear, even the smallest details suddenly start looking important. Online investigators began combing through older clips, interviews, and podcasts, trying to piece together a clearer picture. That's when viewers started pulling up some awkward moments from past videos. In one clip, Erika appeared to struggle when trying to remember the exact date of her own wedding anniversary.
Martin. Remember, Tracy Martin is Erika's best friend for over 15 years. How close are Erika and Tracy? They've done everything together. Tracy says from Romanian Angels. Erika modeled for her clothing brands.
During another conversation, she hesitated and stumbled while talking about timelines connected to her children. Moments like that might normally pass without much attention, but because of everything else surrounding the story, those clips suddenly sparked another wave of speculation across the internet. Then there's another moment that listeners keep replaying from Charlie's podcast. During a casual conversation, Erika mentioned that her obstetrician was no longer alive. That short comment instantly confused a lot of listeners. People began asking questions, trying to figure out what exactly she meant and why that detail came up in the first place. But things didn't stop there. The situation took an even stranger turn when Candace Owens recently made a claim that pushed this entire story into a completely different direction. According to her, the timeline of where
This is shocking that Tracy's daughter is actually Erika's assistant. I'll put an allegedly there because we've got to confirm that information. But the source knows.
Erika was on the day Charlie was shot might not be as clear as it originally seemed. That single allegation immediately set off another storm of questions online. When the tragedy first happened, Erika stated that she had been at the hospital with her mother receiving treatment that day. That explanation was widely accepted at the time. It gave people a clear understanding of where she supposedly was during those hours. But according to sources that Candace Owens recently referenced, the situation behind the scenes might look very different. Those sources claim that Erika may have actually been at a hotel suite in Fort Huachuca instead. Just hearing that possibility was enough to send the internet into another wave of intense speculation. People began revisiting every detail connected to the timeline. Back when everything first unfolded, Andrew Colbert reportedly worked hard to reinforce Erika's version of events. He publicly stated that Erika and Charlie had dinner together the night before.
he was to tell his story, but he also had to include the part where he claims that he saw Erika Kirk the night before, also on Fort Huachuca at Candlewood Inn and Suites, okay?
To strengthen that narrative, he also shared a photo meant to back up the timeline. That image, which Erika herself reportedly took, showed a hand holding a phone while walking with children. The photo was presented as proof that she was with her kids on September 9th at around 8:33 a.m. Pacific time. According to that explanation, she had been taking them out for a morning walk before heading into the office. At the time, that photo was treated as confirmation that the timeline made sense. For many viewers, the conversation seemed settled. But now, new claims are challenging that entire sequence of events. According to these more recent allegations, Erika may not have been with Charlie the night before it all. Instead, some reports suggest she was allegedly spending time with Tracy Martin, a woman who has reportedly been part of Erika's life for more than a decade. That detail suddenly shifts the emotional framing of the whole situation.
I want to see what they did to my husband, and I want to give him a kiss because I didn't get to give him a kiss this morning.
Because if Erika wasn't with her mother like she originally said, then people naturally start asking another question. Why give that explanation in the first place? And if she was with Tracy that night, what exactly was going on? Observers online have pointed to years of photos showing Erika and Tracy spending a lot of time together. There are images of shared vacations, family holidays, and events where the two appeared side by side again and again. Tracy seemed to show up in many different chapters of Erika's life. There have also been claims circulating that Tracy's daughter, McKenna, may have worked as Erika's personal assistant at one point. For some people watching all of this unfold, those details simply point to a close, long-term friendship. But for others looking from the outside, the pattern raises an entirely different set of questions. Questions that the internet continues debating louder every day. And this is the point where the speculation online really started getting louder and louder. At first, people were only circulating one main theory. Some viewers believed that Erika may have used a surrogate when having her children. That idea had already been floating quietly around forums and comment sections for quite a while. It wasn't something everyone believed, but it kept popping up in conversations again and again. But once people began connecting several strange details, the discussion suddenly took on a whole new level of intensity. Viewers started pointing to the missing pregnancy photos, the ultrasound that reportedly showed a different last name, and a few moments where Erika seemed unsure when talking about certain timelines involving her children. When all those pieces were placed side by side, the conversation online started shifting fast. Suddenly, the speculation wasn't only about surrogacy anymore. Some online commentators began pushing a much more dramatic theory. They started suggesting the possibility that the children could biologically belong to someone within Erika's close circle. Now, to be clear, these are claims circulating across the internet, and they have not been publicly proven. But that hasn't stopped people from analyzing every tiny detail they can find. From their perspective, certain pieces seem to line up in ways that raise eyebrows. Supporters of that theory argue that it could explain the absence of visible pregnancy photos. They say it might explain why the ultrasound reportedly showed a different last name. And they also believe it could explain why the entire topic surrounding pregnancy appeared to be handled so privately, while so many other personal moments in Erika's life were openly filmed and shared. And that leads to an even bigger question that people online keep debating nonstop. If any of those rumors actually carried some truth, did Charlie know about it? Or was he seeing a completely different version of events compared to what the public believed at the time? Those discussions had already been circulating online for months. But recently, the story took an even sharper turn when a new name suddenly started appearing in the conversation: Tyler Bauer. Once that name entered the picture, the speculation stopped sounding vague to some observers and started becoming very specific. Now the rumors weren't just about secrecy or the possibility of surrogacy anymore. The conversation shifted towards something even more explosive: paternity. Some sources circulating online have alleged that Tyler Bauer could potentially be the biological father of Erika's children. Again, there has been no confirmed public evidence supporting that claim. But the reason the rumor keeps spreading is because some people believe certain timelines raise uncomfortable questions. Reports discussed online have suggested that Erika and Charlie's marriage may not have been in a strong place during that period. According to several accounts circulating on social media, tension had allegedly been building behind the scenes for quite some time. People close to the situation reportedly believed the relationship had already begun struggling long before the public knew anything about it. If that timeline were accurate, it would completely reshape how many observers interpret the events that followed. By that point, the idea of divorce was no longer just a distant possibility people casually mentioned. According to some discussions online, it was beginning to look like a very real situation that could have been approaching quickly. Certain observers began pointing to small details that they believed hinted at tension inside the marriage. Some claimed Charlie had stopped wearing his wedding ring during that time. Others mentioned stories circulating that he had been sleeping on the couch instead of in the bedroom. There were also critics who pointed out another moment that caught their attention. According to those watching closely, Erika reportedly didn't kiss Charlie goodbye the day before everything happened. Now, each of those details might seem small on their own. None of them prove anything by themselves. But when people start stacking them together, they begin forming a narrative that many online commentators continue to debate intensely. Then another moment entered the conversation that sparked even more discussion. Erika publicly shared what she described as Charlie's final letter to her, and that reveal immediately sent viewers back into full analysis mode. The message praised Erika and spoke about his deep love for her, but once that letter became public, a new wave of questions quickly followed. Many viewers immediately began asking why such a deeply personal message would be released for the entire world to see in the first place. To some people, it felt unusual. A private farewell between a husband and wife is normally something families keep extremely close to their hearts. Because of that, skeptics online started debating the decision to share it publicly. A few critics even questioned whether the letter itself could truly be authentic. However, it's important to point out that no verified evidence has confirmed those claims. Still, once the letter was shared online, every sentence in it was bound to be analyzed. People began reading through it line by line, trying to interpret tone, timing, and meaning behind the words. And as the discussion grew louder, another detail continued raising eyebrows across the internet. Several reports circulating online have suggested that Erika may have been at a resort when Charlie was shot, rather than at home or at the location she originally described. Those reports remain disputed, and no official confirmation has proven them true. But even so, the rumors have continued fueling heavy speculation. If the marriage was already under pressure during that period, observers immediately began asking another major question. What exactly did Charlie know at that point? Because if Tyler Bauer had introduced Erika to Charlie years earlier, and if rumors about past connections between them were accurate, some people believe that detail could shift the timeline in ways many hadn't previously considered. This is where the online speculation becomes even more intense. Some commentators have suggested that if private conversations about DNA or paternity had ever happened behind closed doors, it would dramatically change how people interpret everything surrounding the situation. To be clear, there are currently no publicly confirmed DNA reports supporting those claims. At this stage, those ideas remain part of online discussion rather than proven facts. However, the conversation gained new momentum after Candace Owens hinted in her series Bride of Charlie that she may have information that could challenge Erika's carefully built public image as the ideal political spouse. According to Candace, an upcoming reveal could potentially reshape how people view this entire story. And one detail that keeps catching people's attention is the repeated appearance of the same name, Tyler Bauer. His name continues showing up during different chapters of Erika and Charlie's history. It appears in conversations about how they first met, discussions about their marriage, and now again in speculation about how everything may have started falling apart. When the same person's name keeps appearing across multiple moments in a complicated story like this, people naturally begin paying closer attention. Patterns tend to draw curiosity, whether they ultimately mean something or not. Right now, whether those connections are meaningful or completely misunderstood, Tyler Bauer's name keeps being mentioned at the center of a pattern that many online observers say they can't ignore. And that's exactly why the speculation refuses to fade away. So the biggest questions are still hanging in the air. Why was Erika reportedly gone the night before Charlie's shooting? Was she truly with Tracy that evening, like some people believe? Or could there be another explanation that hasn't been fully clarified yet? Then there are the rumors surrounding Tracy herself. Some people insist the relationship was simply a close, long-term friendship. Others online continue speculating about completely different possibilities. Now we want to hear what you think about everything that's been discussed. Do these connections seem like coincidences, Or do you believe there are still unanswered questions that deserve closer attention? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who has been following the story too. Also check out the next video appearing on your screen right now.